Iftar. Ali, I hope everyone's doing well. Can't believe we're in the last Ashra of Ramadan already. The time just flew by. Um, so before I introduce our guests for this evening, I just want to remind you guys of the Wape competition. So this show is kindly sponsored by Wape Restaurant, and they partnered up with Revive FM to give 5 of you lucky winners a very nice treat, Iftar at Wape Restaurant. And all you need to do to enter is follow at Wape on their social media pages, and follow at Revive FM UK on their social media pages, or on our social media pages rather. And the winner will be announced tomorrow. So come on, guys, it's your last chance to enter this competition. Anyways, onwards and upwards, let's start the show. So I'm just going to introduce our lovely guest this evening. Hi, Assam Gomez, Amal, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
It's so nice to be speaking to you finally.
I know.
Do you want to do just like a quick little intro of yourself?
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Amal. I wear a lot of hats, but currently I am a producer and I'm a host of the show Dinner Inshallah, which is streaming now. Episode 3 is streaming now on Ashab TV. So that's the short version.
That actually is Ashab TV.
Yes, Ashab TV.
Okay. And is that something that you've done independently yourself?
No, so Ashab TV is a Muslim streaming service. It's the first of its kind, actually. I was lucky enough to be brought on to work on my show particularly, but the streaming service was recently created, I would say, in October, and it has a lot of amazing content on it, from original content to the oldies like the Message and the classics, and a lot of really cool documentaries, a lot of amazing food shows like ours. So there's a lot of cool content other than my show.
So your show is called Dinner Inshallah, and it's streaming right now on Ashab TV, right?
Yes.
So if anyone wants to watch it, you can go follow Amal on either YouTube or Instagram, right? It's Amal World, and you can click the link in the bio. She's got the link. And I'm going to introduce our second guest for this evening. Assam Gomez, Iqra, how are you?
Walaikum assalam. Can you hear me?
We can hear you finally.
Lovely.
So I don't know if anyone...
Hello.
Yeah, for the first show we had Iqra and we had technical difficulties. So I'm so glad to have you back. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm really well. Do you want to just quickly give a brief intro of yourself too?
Okay. My name is Iqra. Yeah, I can give my introduction. Don't worry. So my name is Iqra. I'm a professional makeup artist, and I'm also a content creator.
I wanted to ask you, Iqra, because in your so Iqra's Instagram, for any of you guys who want to follow it, it's at Iqra Qadirhan, and there's 2 A's after Iqra. So on your Instagram bio, it also says CEO of At Barja. I want to talk.
Oh yeah, so I've actually got my own jewelry brand. It's a small business.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a small business, so I take out limited collections from time to time. So currently I've got like a 4 pearl collection going on for Eid and Ramadan. So yeah.
And when did you start that?
So I started it I would say ages ago, 4-5 years ago. I was first doing scarves, then I shifted to modest clothing. But then to be honest, I couldn't keep up with it. So I then took a huge turn, and then I just came to jewelry.
That's interesting. So with the modest clothing, is that because, is it because the market's quite saturated, or is it because...
No, because I was actually having trouble with the manufacturers.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. So it's a complete...
So the ones who were actually making it were back home in Pakistan.
Oh, okay, cool.
And since I was doing back and forth from Pakistan to England, it was fine till that time. But then when I completely shifted here, and then, like it's been 2 years, I haven't been back home. So it kind of became difficult for me to keep up.
I see. Okay. So both of you guys, Amal and Iqra, you're both quite prominent on social media, and that's basically your career and your work. That's where your work is as well, right? So I just want to ask you, Amal, like, how did you get into the world of social media and building a career in that?
Well, I don't know if I would consider myself my career on social media. I think it kind of followed what I was originally doing. So I began as a producer, and I am a producer now. I do mostly non-scripted work. So for me, I started in LA in media doing that type of work. And from the different projects that I was a part of, I just kind of gained a following. I don't even know if would consider, these days people have, huge followings. So for me, my work really consists kind of mostly off social media, but I think social media has been a really cool tool for me, for people to understand more of what I'm doing and my work, and to, even discover kind of the projects that I'm a part of, like my docuseries right now, or the other projects I'm a part of. So it was kind of an accident. And I don't know if I, a lot of times can keep up with it. I do have a YouTube channel, but for me, it was more of an artistic outlet because I loved doing documentary work, and I loved really collecting moments, right? And for my friends and family, and just in general, it was a way for me to express that creative outlook for me. And then people really liked it, and I was able to connect with people around the world because of it. So yeah.
Okay. And Iqra, so you actually initially had a background in law, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm a certified solicitor, but I don't practice.
So how did you get like from law into like a beauty certified beauty?
So to be honest, I never wanted to do law. It was something that was forced on me from
Oh
family.
yeah,
So it was
okay.
something that my dad really wanted me to go for. And I did it. I mean, I pushed hard. Like 5 years, I studied law. And then, to be honest, after a while, I just couldn't keep up with it. I realized it wasn't for me. I was not happy with just the workload. I mean, generally, I feel like I was not happy doing law. It's not like
Yeah,
the workload there was more than what it is right now.
it's
Because,
just
to
not
be
what you.
honest, in this industry as well, you have to be super busy and everything. But it was something that was just not for me. I felt like I was such a misfit. I tried to work in law sector. I tried to work back home in Pakistan, here as well, and it was just something that wasn't for me. So for one fine day, I just woke up and I was like, "That's it. I'm not doing that anymore." And yeah, then I made a huge switch. Yeah.
And then how did you start off on like social media? Like, are you on
Um.
any other platforms apart from
So
Instagram?
I did have my YouTube before, but it was more like lifestyle vlogging and all that. In like ages ago, I was doing that while I was actually studying law and everything. But
Oh,
then obviously, like I feel like Instagram became my main place of work when I shifted to like makeup. So I like did my certifications, I did all my courses. Took me like 2 years to complete all of that. And then yeah, then Instagram became the main medium of content creation, I would say. And then obviously like on the side or full time, you can say I'm still taking like one-on-one clients, and I've been working with a lot of brands. So that was a switch, and honestly, I haven't regretted it. So yeah.
mashallah. So I wanted to talk to you because you're both because you are both sort of in the media or involved with the media. What I wanted to talk about today is like basically beauty standards, because beauty standards constantly are changing over time, right? And nowadays I feel like everything is on social media and there's so much pressure. So Amal, I know you were involved in like the modeling industry as well, right? So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. First of all, how did you get involved in the modeling industry, and what type of modeling did you do?
Yeah, so actually I was in law school as well. So I did law school.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, two of us.
yeah, I know. I thought you were asking me that question at first. Yeah, I did.
Oh,
In the States, law school is like completely separate from your undergrad. So you do undergrad, then you have to apply to law school again, and then do that. And then I actually went further in doing a master's in law, and I actually did it in London. So that's where I first went to London and did an LLM there. So I went really far, kind of in that route. And for me, it was, something, being a creative really was something that I've always wanted to do. And I never really knew how to get into it. And I didn't even really know that I had, I couldn't even really call myself a creative, because whenever when I was younger, I would always hear that phrase and think of people who were like musical prodigies or like painters or something, you know what I mean? Very like you can see that they are, you know what I mean, a creative genius. But, I never understood that there are so many other avenues to get into the creative industry. And for me, I thought I was really involved in social justice work. And I, still am very passionate and involved in that as well. But I thought the only way to essentially advocate for communities was to go to law school. I didn't understand there were other paths. So actually it was when I was in London, I was able to meet so many different types of people, and my school was very international. So I met friends from everywhere, and I was able to travel more. And then from there, I was able to kind of really kind of come to terms with the fact that wait, this isn't really something I want to do. And although I can do law and really, do this and kind of put my head down and work my whole life, it's not going to be something that I really love. And I'm not going to be the best lawyer, right? And I had to kind of come to terms with that. Somebody else will be better than me always, because their heart will be in it. And then from there, I kind of explored different creative routes, one of them modeling. And I always kind of was really interested in doing that, just because friends would have brands or different types of, lines that they were putting out, and were like, hey, can you, be in this photo shoot with us? And I would be like, yeah, sure, whatever. I never really gave it a second thought. But, as I kind of was in LA and working kind of on my different projects, I would be, asked to do things more and more. And, for me, it was something that was really about making sure that, especially Muslim women, Muslim hijabis, were able to be seen as people who were involved in these types of avenues, right? I think in the UK it's a little different, because for me, when I moved to London, I was I had culture shock, because I saw, hijabis kind of on, billboard, for just phone companies. It wouldn't be something really specific. It would just be a random thing. And here you just don't see that unless it's a very targeted ad for Muslims or something like that. So being in the industry, I have a lot of stories, a lot of funny stories about just the types of things people say and just the way people kind of perceive me. But it really kind of opened my eyes to the different types of outlooks that there are for Muslim women, especially in this country. And I'm really lucky to be able to do it.
Do you guys ever feel, so question for both of you, I'll ask Iqra first, but do you ever feel pressured to, I'm going to throw it out there, things like Botox, filler especially is becoming so popular right now, it's almost mainstream. In fact, if you look at celebrities who had got filler years ago, they're actually at the process now where they're beginning to remove it from themselves. But with maybe ordinary people that aren't as big, or as famous, I feel like they're starting to jump on that bandwagon. So do you guys ever feel that pressure? And what's your perspective and outlook on things like filler and stuff? Iqra?
Yeah. So, to be honest, with this whole thing, fillers and Botox and normal people are doing it, I was actually exposed to it when I started working on the floor. So I would be the event makeup artist for different brands, and I would do store events and other launch events and everything. And there actually, there was actually a time when I used to go, and everybody, whether it's an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old, has gotten some kind of fillers or Botox done. And then obviously we're looking at other ages of women as well, so I actually got exposed to this thing, and I realized that pretty much, I'm not going to say everybody, but most of the people in beauty industry who are not even who are not even on TV or are not as famous, but are just working in the beauty industry. Now everybody is like doing that, and sometimes it does get to you. Honestly, it does get to you. But then I also felt like that, being the makeup artist myself and like doing makeup on like normal people and like lay people, I've realized that I think it's something that is more associated to beauty industry only. The clients that would come, they weren't exposed to all of this. I've had plenty of clients, in their 40s, in their 50s, even in their early 60s, and they haven't had done any work on them. I mean, not that it's I obviously don't want to get into the debate whether it's right or wrong, because I see it as everyone's personal choice. But I do feel like somebody like me, because I honestly don't want to touch my face. I mean, I could touch my face later on in the coming years, but honestly, I don't want to just like go ahead and get the fillers and botox done because it's a thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
But then you do feel the pressure sometimes. There was a time when I did feel the pressure. I was like, oh my God, do I need to go and get my lips done? Because everybody has gotten their lips done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
bombarded by it, especially you, maybe because you're in the beauty industry.
Exactly. And that's what we see all the time. And then all the other makeup artists who are working with me, or just any random person who's working in a beauty industry, has gotten the work done. So sometimes you actually sit and you think, okay, maybe I can look a little better if I change these things about me. But then I feel like it's a constant battle that you have to also like fight with yourself, and then you have to come out of it. So yeah.
And so with Amal, have you ever experienced that? Like you said, you wear quite a lot of hats. So whether it was when you did modeling or even as a producer, like, how they say the camera adds, I don't know, £10 and things like that. Have you ever felt the pressure on yourself, or either someone that you're filming? Have they ever like felt the pressure? What's it like for you?
Right. Especially, when I do direct folks, whether it's, I'm on the camera with them, or I'm kind of behind the camera directing them, I work with a lot of people who've never been on camera before because of the nature of my work and documentaries and unscripted. So a lot of people are really nervous because they think, they're going to look a certain way, or, the camera is, they've always, been told maybe they're not, photogenic or whatever that is. But I think we're living in a very interesting time that I think history books will look back at, because Instagram, I think, does that more than anything else, right? Social media does that more than anything else, because nothing on social media is real, right? Like, I think we've kind of all come to that conclusion slowly but surely, that whether it's just a picture of someone smiling, you don't know what they're feeling in that moment, right? Or how they even look, right? You don't even know how they look at the moment. So I think more than kind of anything else, even kind of the face-to-face pressure we feel, it's, I think, more fueled by social media, because nothing is real really, and people are curating their lives to look a certain way, and it's really a highlight reel. And I understand that a lot of people do that in a sense to either to facilitate their good moments, right? We're all only posting our good moments, right? And like posting the moments that we feel are best, right? That's fine. It's like, you can't really ask anything else of people if they want to kind of showcase that, right? But at the end of the day, if that's all you're consuming, right, and that's all you're seeing, it really has a toll, and it takes a toll, I think, on everybody who's very active online. In that, there is a line that you have to kind of one day, get to and say, this isn't real. This is somebody's life that what they're showing you, what they're comfortable with showing me. And especially living in a place like Los Angeles, you really see the back end of the curation of those lifestyles versus the reality, right? Like how people really are. And it's not always bad, right? But sometimes it's like, oh, okay, this is real. And versus, I would never think that you feel or are that way online. So, and it happens to everybody, whether they're the kindest person versus somebody who's like, what I mean, has millions of followers and are like, a monster. It's the same, right? People just want to show what they want to show you. And I think that is something that I've experienced in terms of reality. Yeah.
No, it's really interesting that you say that. And I'm so glad you said that, because it's a nice reminder to remind ourselves and everyone else that's listening as well, or watching today, that everything you see on social media is just a fraction of somebody's life. And also, when you're feeling like, just think about yourself, even if you're someone who doesn't even have like an Instagram page, if when you're ill or when you're upset or when you're going through something, you're hardly going to take a picture of yourself or a selfie or capture that moment. So obviously, I mean, it's inevitable. It goes without saying that anything posted on any social media platform is going to be the best moments of somebody's lives, or even like, you know, sometimes people even fake it. And like you said, you live in LA. Honestly, like, we watched, okay, nobody watches TV anymore. I'm sure we can all agree. You guys too, right? We watch YouTube videos. That's become our TV, right? When we're watching vloggers that live in LA, you would think, wow, like they're living their best life. And unless vloggers actually come out and say, you know, guys, like you only see 20 minutes of our day and we're going through this, we're going through that, you would never think that maybe, like, you know, bad things are happening in their lives. So you just have to remind yourself that they're human. So yeah, it's really nice that you reminded us of that. But I want to ask you really quickly, I want to put you both on the spot. Do you think things like Botox fillers are halal or haram? Do you have a view on that? Iqra, do you want to go first?
Put me on spot. I honestly don't think so that they're haram. I wouldn't put them under a very strict category. I mean,
Yeah.
and also, or really, it depends for what purposes you're getting them. But yeah, like then again, it's a huge debate, I would say.
It's a huge, it's a really controversial topic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Amal, do you just want to quickly, I really want to know your view as well, whether you think you have a view on that even.
You know, I honestly don't. I think that these days there's just so much, even procedures that we don't even know about, right? Like that, you know, you're like, some of us are not in the tax bracket to even know like what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's so much that I really honestly don't know. And like what, you know, in the next coming years, what people's even definition of filler or Botox will even be, right? And like nowadays people don't even consider that really like plastic surgery. They consider it just like, you know, tweakments, like that word is kind of coming up nowadays. And it's like, it's not even really, so who knows like what people are going to be considering real facial kind of manipulation in the future. It's just, it's so hard to tell.
So when I was researching about this topic, I was trying to find fatwas from like Islamic scholars on what their view on this might be. And honestly, I didn't actually find anyone that had a definitive answer. I feel like it's so difficult because it's a new concept. I feel like people are still researching about it, or even people themselves are experimenting with it. And sheikhs and scholars, I feel like, can't give a definitive answer on it properly because they don't know, they don't have enough information themselves on it. I did find a couple scholars, I mean, Mufti Menk, everybody knows Mufti Menk, right? Or like, I did find a couple scholars that did mention it. The main thing, or the main principles that they pointed out was, firstly, the fact that anytime we're in doubt about something, as Muslims, we would look to the Quran Pak and the Sunnah, right? Or Hadith, right? Authentic Hadith. And when they turned to that, what they found was, so one point, the fact that I'm sure everybody knows, we can't change our looks per se. So if it's changing your looks, then they consider it to be haram. But then if you delve deeper, what about people that might be using filler to, for instance, fix a deformity in their face, or not necessarily for, you know, a cosmetic reason, but it's to fix a deformity in their face, or you know, like they might have gone through an accident that's changed their face and they're looking to restore that back to balance, things like that. So I think from what I gathered, this is completely my opinion, okay? But what I gathered from doing my research, I figured that if you're doing it to change your face, like, you know, you're basically doing it to make your lips look a bit bigger, to make your cheekbones look higher and more prominent, to make your jawline more prominent, make your chin longer, make your, you know, nose look slimmer, then if you're sort of changing the way you look, you're changing the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made you. So maybe that as like, I'm just going to go out there and say it, maybe that could be on the side that's you're going a bit down the wrong road, I want to say. But I think then again, like when people get Botox for other reasons or filler for other reasons, I mean, it's a gray area, isn't it?
It is a gray area.
Yeah.
It is a gray area.
Yeah. One of the things that I want to talk to you also about is, so while I was researching this and I was watching Mufti Meg's video, I actually found a lot on halal nail polish.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the halal nail polish controversy. And I will talk to you guys about that because recently, I'm sure everyone's seen on social media, there was a post going on about even just normal nail polish and when you pass away, whether you can take it off or not. Because of the endothermic reaction, all of that. But before we go on to that topic, we're going to go on a very quick break. So guys, do keep listening. And if you have anything to add, do give us a call. The studio number is 0333 444 0940. I'll remind you guys once we're back from the break as well. And if you're too shy to talk, we're streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. You can just drop us a comment and speak to either Iqra or Amal or ask them a question. But stay tuned, guys, and we'll be back after a short break.
Amigos, the signature name when it comes to burgers and shakes. Our succulent burgers are prepared in front of you while you wait. Whether you go for our 6-ounce Mexican or our 10-ounce Texan, or you decide to go for our messy fries or our buffalo wings, one thing you're guaranteed is quality. Dine in with your friends and family at 400 Cranbrook Road, Gants Hill, or order in on Uber Eats, Just Eat or Deliveroo. Amigos, hats off to great burgers.
Nitro Treats, the dessert lab where your treats are formulated before your very eyes. Keep cool with our flavoured shaved ice, or chill out with our exclusive Dragon Breath Nitro ice creams. Experiment with our selection of mojitos, or indulge in our traditional faludas or lassies. Visit Nitro Treats at 210 Ilford Lane, where our nitrologists remain ready to serve. Nitro Treats, it's nitrolicious.
If you're looking for a unique bespoke cake made especially for your big day, then look no further. Here at Sugar Sprinkle Cakery, we design some of the most imaginative and delicious home-baked cakes for your special occasions. We do fresh cream, buttercream, eggless and vegan cakes. Check us out on Instagram or Facebook at Sugar Sprinkle Cakery, or just call 07932 665 833. That's 07932 665 833.
Looking to get your finances in order? MR Accountants has you covered. We provide a full range of accountancy and taxation services, including annual and management accounts, self-assessment tax returns, VAT, bookkeeping and payroll services. We ensure you're kept up to date with the latest legislation, and our client-focused approach helps us plan your business finances from savings to investments. We are MR Accountants. Visit our website at mraccountants.com or call us on 0203 432 9138.
Thinking about selling or letting your home? With Maxwell Estates, you don't need to look any further. Well established with over 15 years of experience, Maxwell Estates are specialists in residential sales and lettings. We manage over 200 properties in and around Northwest London, keeping our landlords and tenants updated with all the latest laws and legislations. Based in Edgware, our experienced specialist negotiators always ensure we maximise the full potential of your property. Call us now on 0208 952 0808 for a free no obligation quotation, or visit our website www.maxwellestates.co.uk for further information. Maxwell Estates, the name you can trust.
Kebabish Original, one of the biggest names in the restaurant trade. Visit your local KO to experience the thrill of the grill and the most authentic Pakistani cuisine. From our kebabs to our curries, and from our mixed platters to our peri-peri, our chefs prepare your food in front of you while you wait. KO is now offering franchise opportunities. To take advantage of our proven and successful business model, contact us on 0208 446 7779 or visit kebabishoriginal.co.uk.
Revive FM
94.0 on the radio,
on your mobile
and online.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. You're joined by your host Arusa Ali for another countdown to Iftar today. Guys, don't forget our show is kindly being sponsored by Wabe Restaurant, and they have partnered up with Revive FM to bring you guys a lovely treat of basically you can treat yourself to an iftar, you and 4 other people, so it's for 5 people. It can be your family or it can be your friends, and all you need to do to win this is follow at Wabe on social media. For also give at Revive FM UK a follow on social media and tag 3 friends in the comment section, and we'll be announcing the winner tomorrow. So last day, guys, go on Instagram and give them a follow. Put yourself out there. If you want to give us a call or speak to our lovely guest today, Iqra Qadir Khan or Amal Dalmar, our studio number is 0333 444 0940. That's 0333 444 0940. You can give us a call and ask them a question, or you can watch us. We're streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. You can drop us a comment if you feel too shy to talk on the phone to us and you don't want to be on the radio. But onwards and upwards. So we were talking about, before the break, we were about to talk about halal nail polish. I'm going to put you on the spot again. Just very quickly, I want to ask you both whether do you wear the halal nail polish? Do you purchase it? Do you think it is halal? Or, what's your view on that? I want to ask Amal first.
Once again, I really don't know. I don't.
Do you wear nail polish in general? Like, are you? Because I'm personally one of those girls that doesn't.
I do if I have like a shoot or something like that, but I'm notorious for never really keeping up with it. If I literally have, a chip, I'll just that was always me. But I'm not really up to date on the debate. I don't really know. Last I heard that people wear it and are, you know what I mean? Like it's water permeable, so that's allowed. But honestly, I don't know.
So is it more of a case that like you don't know, and because it's not something that you're interested in, you haven't like really thought about it much? Or
well, it's more of like I don't ever want to kind of say something is good because I personally don't have like the knowledge to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not really sure. I know that like if I have to do something for a shoot for like a day or something, just like it's always funny for me if I go to like a nail salon, I bring my own, halal nail polish, and the nail techs, I'm always like, just this, no top coat, no bottom coat, just this. And they're always so confused. They're like, what? Like, why wouldn't you? It makes it stay longer. And I'm like, no, just this, please. Like, so it's always like funny for me, and that like that's kind of like the only little story that I have about that. But yeah, I'm not really too educated on what the debate specifically. All I know is kind of what my own research has told me, and that's kind of yeah.
So if you ever wear the halal nail polish, would you ever pray in it? And obviously there's 2 sides to this. So you could have performed ablution before and then put it on, and then you can pray obviously because you have wudu at the time. But would you ever, I think my question more so is, would you perform ablution if you're wearing halal nail polish? Like, is that something you would do? Is that something you just like would stay, you don't want to risk it?
I don't know. You're really putting me on.
I'm putting you on the spot because I really just want to know your personal view as well.
No, I'm not really sure. I mean, I think if it's water permeable, then the water should go through. I'm not really a scientist, so I can really only go off of what is like told to us. So I'm not 100%. But I don't know what, maybe people that are more in the science community or kind of will be able to explain like why it wouldn't be able to go through for the water if it is water permeable. But I'm not really sure on that one.
Okay, I won't push you too much because I know. But with Iqra, so you I feel like it's different. I feel like it's different from me asking Amal, because again, you're in the beauty industry, right? So like companies like Inglot do it, and then I think it was Halal 786 or Nail Polish 786, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's your view? What's your take on that?
Okay, to be honest, again, I'm not a scholar here trying to give any fatwa or anything,
No,
you
not
know.
at all.
But I remember watching this really interesting video, which was by Dr. Shabir Ali. I don't know if you guys have ever heard him. So he's a Canadian scholar, and he said something really interesting, which was that obviously wearing nail polishes in general, like it's better to avoid, right, for all the ablution reasons and all of that, the purity and everything. But he said that if a sister is wearing it, then why is she stopping herself from offering prayers? Like, why are we making it so hard on her? Why would she rather choose not to pray
Yeah.
than to pray with the nail polish on? And I thought that was a very interesting take, and I've never seen any, because I feel like when it comes to beauty and Muslim women, I feel like it is very hard for us generally, you know, and there are definitely a lot of rules and regulations surrounding to it. So it was really nice for me to hear a side which was obviously a bit flexible. I
Yeah.
mean, just instead of like being like, okay, if you're wearing nail polish, or if you're wearing halal nail polish or non-halal nail polish, should you be praying, or should you be doing ablution, or should you be fasting? I feel like more than that, we should, I don't know, to me, it would be like, okay, let's look at the bigger picture. And even if you are wearing nail polish, go ahead and offer prayers. Just want to share quickly an experience that I personally had. I'm not going to name the brand because obviously I'm not allowed to. So I was working on this event with this brand for like 4 or 5 days, and they had a specific nail color that I had to wear. It was powder pink.
Okay.
So I actually had to wear that nail color during the whole campaign and the event, right? It was like a 5-day event, and I'm talking about 5 days. So I'm talking about I used to go to the event around 9 a.m. and then it would last till 5 p.m. And I would obviously have my lunch break, and you know they were really flexible with like the prayer breaks. You know how it's like here in UK.
Yeah.
Obviously, nobody stops here. So what do I do at that time? Go remove my nail polish, do ablution,
Yeah.
then offer prayers, or I would just. And by the way, I was not even wearing a halal nail polish at that time because I couldn't find that color. So I was wearing my normal powder pink nail polish on my square nails, and I was offering prayers, and I was in the nail polish because I thought I could just offer my prayers instead of, you know.
Yeah. Of
And then
course.
obviously it was like the work as well, and you know, so yeah. Again, I'm not like, I don't think so. I'm like obviously educated enough or like, you know, equipped enough to like say what is right or what is wrong, but just my personal opinion or my personal experience with this whole thing, you know.
I don't think anyone, even scholars, find it hard to give a fatwa on things like this because no one really is that. No one, I feel like, has enough information to give again a definitive answer on any of this. But there's so many opinions out there. For instance, some people believe you shouldn't even be wearing nail, like you said, and I don't know, Amal, if you've experienced that in your culture as well. But me and Iqra were both Pakistani, and I know, Iqra, you can agree. So with Pakistanis, you get told like by the elders, don't even bother. Like,
Yeah.
why are you going to put yourself in that position where you know, if you can perform ablution, put your nail polish on, and then for whatever reason, you know, you're drinking water or whatever, you need to go to the bathroom. How are you going to do ablution again? You're stuck, right? And especially if you're out at work, you're stuck. So they say just don't even put yourself in that position in the first place. And then you've got people that like are a bit more flexible than that, one step further. So they'll be like, if you've performed ablution and then you've got nail polish on, it's okay for you to pray, because the purpose, I mean, the main point of being able to pray, one of the fard is that you're pure and you've performed ablution. Obviously, after that, if you break it, then they say if your wudu is broken, then they say, you know, you shouldn't pray now until you do perform ablution again. And then with the you know, with the halal nail polish, so again, when I was researching, I found a few scholars that talked about it a bit. So there was Sheikh Salim Al-Azhari, Mufti Sheikh Asim Al-Hakim, Sheikh Abu Isa, and they all had various different responses. You would think like they might have give sort of the same opinion, right? But it wasn't like that. And Iqra, like you mentioned, Dr. Shabir Ali as well, I see where he's coming from, because we're living in a society where it's so difficult already for us to practice our faith and be Muslims in whatever industry you're in, or whatever work you're in. It's already quite a challenge. And then if you're making it difficult or harder for somebody, you're not really achieving anything. You're not letting them achieve anything. And then how are you going to answer to God for them straying away from Islam? So maybe it's, the same like a few years back, there was a lot of talk about the hijab, which Amal, you were on BuzzFeed as well, like 4 years ago, right? I'll ask you about that. So, and it was videos about hijab, right? There was so much talk about it. And what people don't realize is at the end of the day, like we're all on a journey and we're all struggling with different things. If somebody is if you see a Muslim sister or brother struggling, and I agree with Dr. Shabir Ali on that point, maybe take a more positive approach. Because if you like that girl, right, who was wearing like nail polish and she's praying, we don't know whether her prayer is being accepted or not. We don't know, only God knows, right? None of us know. But maybe in a few years she'll get to a point where now she will follow the let's say the traditional route, like not wearing makeup as much or putting the hijab on, things like that, like help people get closer to Islam. But so I'll just say a little, I know, because you guys I don't want to put you on the spot too much about what your personal opinion is, apart from what you've mentioned already. But from what I learned, so people did experiments, and there are YouTube videos on that as well, where basically they'll put like a layer of halal nail polish on tissue, and they'll put droplets of water on it, and then see if the tissue underneath is wet. Most of it, I'll be honest, from those videos, it wasn't permeable. So there was no water going on the tissue. So if it was permeable, there would be water going on. This is just what I found. And then again, Mufti Menk, I'll go with him because he's everybody knows of him, right? He, because people ask him, young girls ask him, a lot of the youth are the ones who follow Mufti Menk. So when he did his research, he actually contacted people that work for companies that make halal nail polish. And they actually told him, like, it's a gimmick, it's not real, it's not really permeable, which I was really shocked about. And then there's a coffee test or something, they tried that, and apparently from my research as well, I found that it actually isn't that permeable. But then again, nobody, like I said, I feel like we don't have proper information about it. At the end of the day, you have to do what you think is best for you. So yeah, and then there was a controversy about not even wearing nail polish at all. I don't know if you guys, because everyone's on social media even a bit, I don't know if you guys were aware of when they were saying, like, women passing away with nail polish on, and they were unable to take it off when they were giving the final ghusl. Amal, I see you nodding.
Yeah, I heard about that. Honestly, at the end of the day with these conversations, I'm always like, there's probably a bigger thing we could be talking about. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, when I see these things,
it was really scary initially. So when I initially heard about it, I got really, really scared.
Yeah.
Did you not get that fear in your heart? Like,
I mean, I think somebody really quickly debunked that and was like, this is not true.
Yeah, it was really quick. Yeah.
So I just thought, like, whenever I see things like that, I'm always like, it's really sad that we're targeting women in Islam like this. There's so many conversations I feel like revolve around policing what women can and can't wear, to a point that is not the intention is not positive, right? It's not like, let me help. It's more of policing. Yeah. And that's kind of what I always kind of get from these conversations online about these things, more than just, obviously if someone has a real question about these things, they will take the initiative to go and ask their local imam, or to go, look it up themselves. Alhamdulillah, we live in a time where we can easily get information. We don't have to walk to the next village and kind of try to get something. We can easily get this information, right? But it just makes me feel like a lot of this is really kind of fear mongering from especially Muslim women, right? And like kind of policing what we can and can't do and making sure Muslim women can express themselves. I'm not talking specifically about nail polish, but just kind of the bigger conversation in general. And it just makes me feel a little bit like, what are the deeper kind of like roots of this conversation? Can we kind of unpack like what this kind of means whenever I hear things like this? Because I generally do think that it's good that we are getting the minuscule day-to-day.
President Zelensky says he will soon meet with the US Secretary of Defense to talk about what military aid and supplies are needed. And he thanks the countries that have helped.
We cannot reject anything during the war.
Sorry, technical difficulties. There was just something on the news. Also, Amal, so I wanted to, because of it, I feel like you said, I was one of those people that if I see something like that, I will go out and do my research. And then Iqra, I'm sure you're like that too. You're in the beauty industry, so it's like, it's to do with your work really. But I'm also I feel like maybe you're on the side where it's exhausting talking about things like this. And I get that from what you do as well. So like you're making docuseries about that, right? Not about this, sorry, you're making docuseries. What are they about the series? What sort of content like?
About what I'm working on now?
Yeah. So for instance, the dinner inshallah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you just talk a little bit about that? Like what is
dinner inshallah for me, kind of linking back to our conversation we're just having about kind of being kind of seeing what Muslims are really about versus getting real conversations. For us, we wanted to make a food show that was really about people, right? That really kind of focused more on the stories behind the food. It is a show specifically about, Muslim people making halal food, but we really want to take a step further and investigate kind of the stories that come with making these dishes, right? A lot of us, especially immigrants to this country or kind of wherever we are, we don't have the luxury of just like making a hamburger and like calling it a day, right? There are deeper stories that come with our food. And a lot of it has to do with creating a community, right? Like a lot of times restaurants and food and the places that we gather, they're community building sites. And the fact that a lot of people use this to call out to their people is one of the things that we want to talk about. So the first season is 4 episodes. 3 of them are out so far. And we go from all to the West Coast. Well, California, we haven't really got to the other 2 states, but it's basically talking to these different Muslim and non-Muslim community leaders, food owners, about what their story really is. And we go all the way from the Bay Area to San Diego and talk to a lot of amazing people. People opened their doors to us, really just opened their hearts to us and allowed us to see what the bigger kind of story is, right? Like they have a shop, but a lot of people came to this country with nothing, and they built their whole community surrounding their restaurant. So it's a lot of amazing content. I hope everybody gets to watch it.
That's really interesting because so basically you're going all along the West Coast speaking to different Muslims and basically showing people that representation of Muslims, because it's so hard to paint everyone with one brush. It's impossible. You just can't do that. And it's nice to see you showing maybe non-Muslims that. I feel like some Muslims can't even accept how different we all are. Even some Muslims have labels that they'll put, you can't put everybody in one box. So my last question to you both is, because we're all Muslims, and again, it's going to be to do with beauty again, only because that's the focus of today, because there's so much pressure surrounding that, I feel like, right now on social media. Do you think there's room for beauty in Islam?
Of course. Yes, of course.
Iqra?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Muslim and I'm into beauty. Of course, that's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I think, like Amal, you said, you know, and it's mostly, I feel like the opposite gender, not always, but mostly, who are constantly putting restrictions and judging what women are doing and things like that. But we forget there is room for beauty in Islam. If you look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's names, and if you look at, I mean, what's everybody's favorite surah? I feel like some people might come after me, but I know for a fact, anytime anybody, whether you're a Muslim or a non-Muslim, anytime you hear Surah Rahman, everybody loves that surah. It's so poetic and it's talking about the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's to do with beauty. In my last show, we were talking about how people, especially youth, some youth were approaching Sheikh Umar Suleiman and saying, you know, we're struggling to have that love for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we feel really guilty. We don't know how to have that love. And the Sheikh replied, well, of course you don't. I mean, you don't know anything about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam properly. So how can you build that love in your heart for him sallallahu alaihi wasallam? You know, and one of the ways he was describing is, and which we all hear, is not just the character of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is in hadith and which we all strive to follow or should be striving to follow, but also the physical aspect as well. So I think it's unfair to be so harsh and so and try and put people in one box or another. I love the fact that Iqra, you're, you know, in the beauty industry and you're facing all these this pressure, and like you said, you're fighting with it every day. And then Amal, it's so nice to see that you're doing what you're doing. Basically, you're showing that representation for Muslims and all the different types that we are, because we're all so different. Once again, I just want to say both of their social medias, because we're nearing the end of the show and I'm sure everyone's getting ready to open their fast. So Iqra, it's at Iqra with a double A after at the end of Iqra, at Iqra Qadir Khan, and you can follow her on Instagram. And then it's Amal World with no S at the end, right? On Instagram again. And when you go, if you go on their Instagram pages, in the bio is all the information for Iqra's jewelry company. If you guys want to shop for Eid, maybe, you know, she was saying she's come out with a new line for Eid, right? And Amal, that's really interesting. I saw you've got the bio for Ashab TV. If anyone wants to go and watch that docuseries, and you said there's 3 episodes out already, right?
Yes. And if you use the code Amal, AMAL, you can get 1 month free. So.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Any last words? We've got a couple minutes before the Adhan. Is there anything you want to add? Any last points that you want to make?
I don't know. I think I'm going to say something very cliche. I think we should rather focus on being beautiful humans than just talking about or focusing on a woman's physical appearance and her beauty and how she's carrying herself and how should a woman carry herself. It should more be, the focus should more be rather on how and what kind of humans are we, what kinds of human are we growing up. And yeah, I think the focus needs to be there. And I feel like as long as these topics are concerned, I feel like we should leave it to individual and their choices and preferences and their understanding of Islam and religion.
That's really beautiful. Yeah. And Amal?
I want to agree exactly with Iqra, what she said. That was exactly, you know, correct. And a lot of these conversations, I think, are important, especially when it comes to deeper understanding of religion. But I also think that when it comes to these bigger kind of like viral tweets or whatever about women that happen, I feel like once a week, like one of the bigger ones with like the lollipop and the, you know, we all know that one about the unwrapped lollipop. I feel like those happen every single week about women. It always is about women. And I just want to, you know, challenge everybody to really kind of deeper, like take a second to understand what the deeper kind of conversations about that are. And it doesn't happen only in the Muslim community. These conversations happen everywhere about women as well, especially everything we do and why, especially when we live in these patriarchal societies, why that really is. So I just want to, you know, challenge everybody to really kind of take a deeper understanding on those conversations and why they're actually happening. And yeah, exactly. Like, I think that we should really focus on inward beautification of ourselves, the beautification of our words, how we're relating to each other and our communities, right? And like making sure that we're there for one another. I think these are very difficult times for everybody for different reasons, and to take time to really reach out to someone today, maybe take the time to reach out to a friend or someone you haven't reached out to, and make sure that we're just there for each other. I think that there so much that we can say and type, right? But like focusing on action is something that maybe we can all do, including myself, so that's just something I want to say.
I would agree with both of you. So where obviously physical beauty is concerned, like Amal said, and like Iqra mentioned, we are living in difficult times. And one of those things I agree and I admit is the physical beauty aspect of it, and especially the pressure that we're facing. But I think where things like that are concerned, every individual has to do their own research. And as long as you've got the basic foundations of Islam and you're following those, the best thing we can do is try and follow the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and try to beautify our character and look inwards. If everybody does that, the world can just, again, it sounds cliche, like Iqra said, but the world will be a better place. We're constantly trying to tear each other down. We've got there's enough of that going around in the world, I think, as Muslims, and we're in the month of Ramadan as well. So let's try and continue that for the next year until the next reminder comes of Ramadan and helping us get back on track. But Amal and Iqra, thank you so much for joining me today. It was so lovely speaking to you both. Guys, check them out on social media. Follow the docuseries that Amal's doing. But we'll just wait for the azan now. Very quickly, I want to say... so we are in the third Ashar of Ramadan, and let's just remember our brothers and sisters that are suffering around the world, especially in countries like Yemen, Palestine. I'm sure you're all seeing what's going on over there, Syria, Somalia, even Pakistan, Bangladesh. So let's just take some time out in the last 10 days to also pray for our brothers and sisters around the world who are actually suffering from real problems and not first world problems like we are. But nevertheless, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for listening. We'll just wait for the azan now.
This iftari is sponsored by the Wahbeh restaurant in Gants Hill, Ilford, and Plashett Carpets in Upton Park.
اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ومولانا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم إني لك صمت وبك آمنت وعليك توكلت وعلى رزقك أفطرت. وصلى الله تعالى على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على حي على الفلاح حي على الله أكبر الله أكبر لا
اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله في الأولين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه في الآخرين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين. اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت سيدنا ومولانا محمد الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته وارزقنا شفاعته يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد.
This iftari is sponsored by the Wahbay restaurant in Gants Hill, Ilford and Plashett Carpets in Upton Park.